Dave Keating standing by in Brussels for us. Dave, what has the EU's reaction been to this war of words between Paris and London, if you will?
Well, the Commission has been cautious and somewhat trying to seem neutral, I think, so far in this dispute. They don't disagree with France that the UK is not implementing the terms of the treaty fully in terms of giving out those fishing licenses, but they're also not fully embracing what France is doing. That being said, the EU Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton, who is himself French, but he's representing the European Commission, told France 24 that this is a matter that France is free to do. France is free to take these measures. It's a matter of French sovereignty, but the EU Commission is following events to ensure Brexit commitments are met, and he's optimistic good sense will prevail. Essentially, this is France's right to do this because the UK is no longer an EU member state. The Commission cannot govern France's border arrangements with the UK when it comes to these imports. If it wants to ban French ships, if it wants to make the checks at the borders more rigorous, that is now France's option to do. Is it helpful for the fishing dispute? Probably not. So the Commission is trying to ratchet the tension down, but the tension is just going up, and this has been a long simmering dispute. When you talk to UK diplomats, they are adamant that they are implementing the treaty requirements correctly, and that these fishing vessels in question just haven't submitted the correct paperwork. But when you talk to the French diplomats, they're equally adamant that these fishing vessels have submitted the correct paperwork, and the UK is denying their fishing rights just for the sake of it.
Brussels, David, sorry, this cautious reaction from Brussels, is it the EU's way of being a good cop to France's strategy of being a bad cop?
It's not the impression I get. I don't get the impression that there is a lot of coordination between the Commission and Paris on this. This really feels like France acting on its own. And I get the impression that the Commission actually finds all of this saber-rattling unhelpful, because this is taking place in the context of many treaty requirements that the UK is not fulfilling, and the Commission really has its hands full, most especially with the Northern Ireland Protocol. This fishing issue is relatively small. This is a small number of vessels we're talking about here. It's incredibly important to France, but to other EU member states, it's not as important. That being said, I think that if this extends into the area of energy, the Commission is going to take a more keen interest here. As I said, this is France's right to block these imports and to have more thorough checks. But if France acts on its threat to start cutting off energy exports to the UK, to the island of Jersey specifically, or to the UK in general, that is still France's prerogative to do, but that would be a major headache for the Commission. So I think the Commission is trying to stay out of things as much as possible. They are trying to resolve the fishing dispute, but they're trying not to come heavily on one side or the other here. But I think if France acted on that energy threat, the Commission would kind of be forced to take a more active role here. What that active role would be, I'm not quite sure. But in general, I don't get the impression that this is a coordinated good cop, bad cop routine between the Commission and France. I think this is just very important to France, and France is acting on its own.
We'll see how this plays out. Dave, thank you very much for the update. Dave Keating reporting that for us.